All we know is that a Qatari player who, if you are looking for the first time at a photo of this guy, you say that's that guy. You would describe that's a black man. You'd say that's a black man is making a racial insult towards somebody that is a Samoan New Zealander. Whether or not it's relevant that the colour of his skin is a hell of a lot lighter, well, that's up to you to decide. To me, it's not relevant at all. It's a racial slur or abuse, and alleged racial slur or abuse was proffered from one player to the next, and this is how the New Zealanders reacted to it. Now, was it the right thing to do? Well, this is what we do. We discuss these things. My go-to guy over 25 years of doing sports broadcasting is Miles Davis, the old mate. West Ham through and through, lives his life through football, vicariously through football. Every single thing about his life, there's an analogy that translates back to football. He was actually up and watching that game this morning. So, Miles joins us. Okay, Miles, we've got a can of worms open here, haven't we? None of us know exactly what was said on that pitch, but it was certainly something that was offensive enough to really rile the New Zealand players up. What is your take on it for a start? Do you think that they should have continued that game or that they should have stayed in the dressing room?
Personally, I think they should have continued with the game, gone on and beaten Qatar, and then lodged an official complaint afterwards. There's a danger here that suddenly the players become the law unto themselves. You know, the referees out there, they said, oh, the referee didn't do anything. Well, if he can't hear what was said, if he didn't hear what was said, it's very hard for him to make a decision then. You know, FIFA have got things in place, and UEFA, they've all got these things in place to try and deal with racism. Now, the punishments that they mete out might still not be enough, but that is the procedure to go through. And if you suddenly decide that you want to take the law into your hands every time someone upsets you, I mean, where are we going to, you know, racism's abominable, but where are we going to draw the line? Am I allowed to call you a fat bastard? You know, that's offensive to you. That's upsetting to you. I've got no right to do it. You know, where do we draw the line on you know, what punishments people are going to get? Am I just going to, every time I feel that maybe I'm losing, maybe racism doesn't get you disqualified from the game, maybe I'm losing, maybe I say someone says something to me and we just all walk off. You know, I'm not downplaying what's done there, but we need to know what was said, or else we're going to get into a situation where racism, ban them, and nothing gets said. You know what I mean? We can't just have it being down to one side of the story being the law.
Infantino, the FIFA president, and as soon as you start talking about FIFA being some kind of, you know, higher moral authority, we're all guffawing, aren't we?
God,
You know, I mean, exactly. Yeah. But he says that, the matches have got to be stopped, and that was in the wake of Vinicius and the chanting from the crowds. Is that a completely different issue for you? If the crowd is chanting and they are being offensively racist, all of that kind of stuff, does the match have to be stopped then?
But do they abandon the game then? Is that a way that they, you know, I don't know if he said that the games must be abandoned, you know, stop it until something gets done, like the captain of the side whose fans are doing it, you know, the usual appeal that they make to the crowd. It's more overt and probably, you know, more powerfully offensive if you've got a whole crowd shouting at you something abusive rather than just an individual in the heat of the moment saying something vile. But, you know, do they stop? Do they just abandon the game? You know, I mean, there are procedures in there. If there was and I don't doubt that there was something offensive said, or there's something, should we put it this way, that Boxall took and some of his teammates took offence to. But surely it's got to go through due process. I just can't, you know, like, I mean, I was going to say you've played sport, but all you've played is squash, and you're too knackered in that sort of game to say anything. But there's a lot of unsavoury stuff that goes on the pitch, and I'm not justifying it, but if people walk off every time something bad like that happens, especially when there is a protocol and there's a methodology for trying to get, you know, justice for it or get the right punishment meted out, then, you know, where are we going to end up?
All right, Miles, thank you for that. 0800 Debates, our number, 5050 on the text. They're just pouring in. I'll get to them in a second. Chris Milicich is on the other line. I've known Millie for a couple of decades as well, coaching kids football with Crossed, and Well, the odd time clashed on the sideline, I suppose, but we got over that, didn't we? We're bigger than that. Chris is also the holder of the highest coaching badge that FIFA awards. So he's a grade 1 coach. So he can go and coach anywhere in the world, any team he likes in the world. He also joins us. Millie, like me, I didn't watch the game, and I've gone back and I've tried to look as much footage as I possibly can, and I can't figure out what was said, and so nobody knows exactly what was said. Your initial reaction to the fact that our team didn't come out for the second half is what?
Well, fundamentally, I know these coaches and I know these players, to make that decision, they feel extremely strongly about this, and they also believe that an action needed to take. So it's not like these are flighty individuals. These are serious people. These are people who take what they do serious. And if they're prepared to make this stance, then you have to believe that it's a pretty serious thing for them and what happened.
It's on the field. Words are exchanged. They are obviously offensive because you can see the way our guys react to that. Going off the field and then refusing to come back on is an extreme reaction as you can possibly get. On reflection, and this is what we do on this side of the microphone because we have time to think about it afterwards, is it better to let the referee and due process take place after the game? You lodge your complaint, you say this happened, rather than you be the law and then you make the law?
Except we've been talking about this for the last 5 or 10 years. There's banners saying, say no to racism, all sorts of things happening, and nothing ever changes. I believe that a lot of people involved in the officialdom of sport in general, they say and do things because they're forced to do it from general public, and then they choose to whitewash this. This is Qatar we're talking here, one of the countries that fund a huge amount of sport around the world. And I can almost guarantee nothing would be said, nothing would be done. It would be swept under the carpet and ignored. This is a friendly match, so there's no points on it. There's no nothing. I mean, there's someone's going to be out of pocket. But the reality is this is the only opportunity for the players to say, we've had enough. And let's not kid ourselves. New Zealanders are not cowards. If this happened, they're prepared to stand up for the right thing. And can ignore the fact. Because if this had been anywhere else, I mean, look what happened to Vinicius Jr. for Real Madrid, and everybody just washed it under. And what he had to put up with was appalling, and it was all just washed under. So until this is highlighted and a proper adult conversation can be had and said, if you do that, punishments are severe, it's still going to be there. Or alternatively, just say, if carte blanche, do what you like, stop putting banners up and stop putting nonsense up. Either you take things seriously as you say you will, or you don't bother.
Chris Milicich is with us. He is a FIFA accredited grade 1 coach. He has been around the football scene in New Zealand for a hell of a long time, including our national teams. And as you say, Millie, you know all of these people involved. I'm just going to go to the absolute edge here. And, you know, one of the frustrating things about watching football is the professional fouling, the diving, the falling over, the hands on the face, all the play acting that goes on. I fear the opening of a door which says we're down 3-0 in a very crucial match here, and somebody decides that somebody said something to them, and then they stop, they refuse to play, and they go off. Is that just me creating a hypothetical situation that will never happen, or could that be something that does happen in the future where players actually start using this in a way to benefit themselves because of what's happening on the pitch results-wise?
Yeah, look, it could happen. I mean, let's look at ourselves. Football's the only real global sport with every single country involved. We've got to be very careful we don't put the attitudes of European attitudes towards fair play, etc. And it could happen. But the reality is this is a friendly game. It's happened. But it's like anything in football, Martin. The referees have the power to stop it all. They choose not to. So until we get the officials that are prepared to go, I mean, if he heard that, he should have just gone, right, red card, you're off. Boom, don't care, get off. You know, the dive, the play acting, boom, red card, get off. I tell you, it doesn't take more than 3 or 4 weeks.
I agree.
And you've solved it.
I agree.
Every time a player gets in a referee's face and he flicks a yellow card at him, 3 or 4 weeks, it stops.
Yep.
So the officials have the ability to do this. They choose not to. So as far as I'm concerned, until the officials actually use the tools they're given to stop this stuff, they can, quite honestly, put their hand up and go, we allow this to happen. Because we all know when a player dies. We all know when a player rolls on the ground and all the rest. And the referees choose to do nothing. I mean, we had an incident the other week. A player goes down. He gains a free kick. One of my players said to him, get up. He jumped up and he ran 25 metres. And the referee didn't say, injured, are you? Here's a yellow card for play acting. Turn the game around the other way and there's free kick for us. So, in my opinion, Martin, the officials, the referees and the people there, they are there to manage it, and they don't do it well at all.